let's take a look at the updated playoff bracket after recapping these games. So this is where it stands. As Matthew hinted at just a moment ago, these matchups are phenomenal. You have the Texans against the Ravens, Stroud, a maybe future MVP and definitely Offensive Rookie of the Year against the maybe two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. Mahomes and Josh Allen, what more can you ask for than a Chiefs-Bills rematch? Jordan Love against Brock Purdy in guys that just had tremendous seasons.
By the way, Matt LaFleur back to San Francisco.
That's right. Matt LaFleur, who's an underappreciated coach in this league, I would say, against Kyle Shanahan.
That was a masterclass in play calling against Dallas.
And then the number one pick battle on NBC. The Bucs, Baker Mayfield against Jared Goff, the Lions. Those teams didn't draft them, but boy, they're happy they ended up with them. As we look at here, the Super Bowl odds, the Niners, no surprise, they've been the favorite going in, plus 175. The Ravens at plus 290, and then a bit of an open field with the Bills at plus 500, the Chiefs at plus 700, the Lions at plus 900, and then the three super long shots in the Bucs, Packers, Texans at plus 2,500 there.
I've been saying for quite some time, sort of chalk, but I think it's going to be a Niners-Ravens Super Bowl. Having said all that, like I was going to bet this, I actually think sort of the Lions and the Chiefs at plus 700, plus 900 there, I think are pretty interesting. The Lions have a little bit of team of destiny feeling to me. Like that's a team that believes, Dan Campbell has them believing they can do anything. I think they win against Tampa Bay at home this week, and then it's one game and anything can happen. So they've got a shot at the Super Bowl, and then it's Mahomes. It's Mahomes and Reed who have been there before.
He needs to win 2 games to make it to the Super Bowl. When you simplify it like that, Patrick Mahomes needs to win 2 games to go to the Super Bowl. At those odds?
Yeah, right?
Why not?
That's what I'm saying.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs, it's very worried about all these Bills injuries on defense and the fact that the Chiefs offense, the fact that Rashee Rice played that well, and Kelce didn't have his best game, but at least he got on the stat sheet for like 7 for 71. So they're scary. But I'm with you, Matthew. If I was to make one bet, and this is kind of crazy because I haven't been that high on this team all season, but it would be Detroit at plus 900. Like they need to win one game as a 6-point favorite to get to the NFC title game. And then, yes, San Francisco are terrifying, but for a terrifying best team in the league, like I haven't forgotten Christmas night where Brock Purdy, like there is a chance that he could just implode. And I'm a Brock Purdy believer. I think that they are going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're the deserved favorite. But he's not Mahomes. He's not Allen. He hasn't been there before and been able to perform in that spot. And probably the biggest game of his career that he got through healthy, he had the worst game of his career against the Ravens on Christmas. So I think the Lions with that offensive line, their defense is playing better. Just Aiden Hutchinson is playing at like a close to Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons level at the moment. So Detroit would be my bet at plus 900.
Yeah.
And also, Super Bowl's in a dome, which is pretty handy for Jared Goff.
Yes. Which is definitely handy for Jared Goff. Last thing here as we wrap up this segment here, because we sort of bypassed it. We were doing a bunch of different stuff. But Penn State Blake, who was supposed to do a minute and a half, and I think he did about 5 or 6, and all his diatribe against the Philadelphia Eagles didn't take one moment to honor Jason Kelce, who's been a great Philadelphia Eagle, an MVP of their Super Bowl parade, a few years ago as well, has a famous brother as well. I just want to take a moment here on Jason Kelce. So 13 seasons all with Philadelphia, 6-time first-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, very successful podcaster, unbelievable on a parade. And oh, by the way, you saw it last night. Like when they used the tush push, the brotherly shove on a 2-point conversion and couldn't get it. And now Jason Kelce is retiring. So reportedly, that's the report as well. Like if Jalen Hurts' fantasy value this year was, kept afloat on some level by all the rushing touchdowns. They got within 2 yards and it was automatic because that's like the most unstoppable play in football. Last night it was stopped. And now Jason, I actually think it seems weird to say that there's a fantasy impact to a center retiring, but I would argue because of the way Jalen Hurts scores a lot of fantasy points, because of that play and because of his impact, I actually do think you knock Jalen Hurts' fantasy value down just a little bit because of this.
Yep, no, absolutely. Kelce's been a monster. I think back to the way he played against Kansas City in that game where he's, running down the field, making these extra blocks. His mobility as well as his strength, it's incredible. He's one of the great centers of all time. And it is a big knock because Hurts, he was close to effectively setting the record for most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. And it's not like he's running them in like Josh Allen was last night. Like they're largely a tush push, so it's a blow for Hurts into the offense that now is a bit of uncertainty.
Potentially the most athletic center of all time and an incredible player, incredible ambassador for the NFL. I'm excited to see what's next for Jason Kelce.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.